And for the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everybody to this regular meeting of the Culver Board of Zoning Appeals. And remind everybody that this is being recorded. We do have one person online who can present one of the cases online. If we could start with roll call. Mr. Secretary.
Dan Adams,
Present.
Gary McManaway,
Present.
Dan Osborne,
Present.
Andrew Melshon,
Present.
and John Christus present. We also have sitting at the table, Steve Gorski, our building commissioner, Kevin Dante, the town manager.
Thank you. Next item, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from September 21st meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded, and you can pick whoever you want to second it. That we approve the minutes. Any discussion? If not, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 5-0. Oh. Here we have 5. Actually, just put it here.
Dan,
I can take it.
Only got,
It's just a back page, so I'll just take that.
okay. I'll take that mine back. Okay, the first petition is case number 2023 B09. And Burke, I think you're presenting this.
Good evening, members. First and foremost, let me to apologize for last month. Got busy with some family stuff and lost track of what needed to be done. Sincerely apologize for that. Your time is very valuable and had no intention there. And I ask for your forgiveness on that. And I would direct your attention when we were last here on these two lots. We were asking for a variance on the north lot from the south yard setback on also the impervious ordinance and the ordinance requiring construction on the same footprint as an existing building. On the south lots, we're only asking for a variance from the north yard or not north side yard setback. Then I provided to Mr. Gorski you also requested to have separate individualized layouts for the lots so that you could see exactly what was going on each lot. Did you guys all get those? It looks like there's one. Did you have both? I can just see that's.
They have two different case files. This is for the first case and then.
Gotcha. Okay. So if we wanted to do the north lot first, I guess, because that's the one with the 3 requests. We can start with that one. And there, the request was from the south yard setback was going from 10 feet down to 2 feet from the overhang. So from the foundation, that would be a 3-foot setback. And then obviously the building that's there is identified with a square that's kind of in the middle. And the entire building is laid out with the 25-foot setback in the back, which meets the requirement, 10 foot off the north, which meets the requirement. The roadside or the western boundary meets the requirement because it's in line with the rest of the developments that's there. The only setback variance request is from the south yard, side yard setback.
And I'm going to make a statement here. I'm not in favor of tying the two together as because you're owning both, if they're separate lots, they're separate lots.
Oh, yeah,
And, and I don't like the impervious thing connecting with the two. I don't think it has anything to do with it. I think each
The-
one is separate.
Yeah, the calculation that's on the bottom for the north lot is just the north lot. So when it calculates the impervious statement, there, the impervious surface amount is 50.7% impervious for just the north lot. Because that was a request that you wanted to see that individualized number.
I don't think I have it.
On the bottom.
That's right here on the bottom of the.
I don't think I have it. Never
Got
mind.
it.
Okay.
So it's gonna be right here at the bottom. So just for that north lot, the impervious area is 50.7. And obviously the requirement is 50%. So we'd be asking for a 0.7 variance on that.
Impervious. 50.7.
Correct. So the variance request for the impervious is that 0.7% that it's over. And then the other request is to build outside the original footprint. And I do have, for statistic purposes, some layouts that have kind of been put together on elevations, I'm sorry, as to what the units would be constructed there would look like. No. Almost like I counted them up. Right? So the design, the way this has been put together is all for the intent to not affect any of the neighbors on any side. The only effect is in between the two. And to help the council's security in maintaining that area between the two buildings, we will have recorded a reciprocal maintenance easement agreement that allows each of the two homes to be able to maintain the side of their house in that area between the two homes. We'll also have a negative restrictive easement that would not allow either of the two homes to build anything in between there. And that would be recorded. So if somewhere down the line that someone decided to do an addition or something that would encroach upon that, not only would they have to ask for a variance to do that, further side yard setback, they'd also be restricted by that negative easement to build any further towards the house next to it. And of course, that runs with the land, so it would be in perpetuity.
The 8 foot is for the site.
Correct. Yeah. So here, that negative easement would say that that north house can't build any closer to the side yard setback than 2 feet from the overhang, 3 feet from the foundation. And kind of one thing that we've always looked at in the surrounding area, we've always talked about that there is the proximity of the two homes together fits with the character of the surrounding side yard setbacks. At the requested separation, it would be about between the two overhangs would be 10 feet. And from other surrounding buildings in the same neighborhood, you're at 5 feet, 19 feet, 11 feet, 10 feet, 7 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet.
Those were
So that-
grandfathered in, and they were not new builds in a lot of those cases.
Correct. I'm just saying it's not as if there's, big yards and then these are going to be slammed next to each other. Kind of fits with the area that's there.
So if you're wanting to include this lot, the southern contiguous, so is that a vacant lot? That, I'm not quite sure how to read this. There's our 3 lots.
There's 2 lots. One has the residence that's there now, the
Right,
blue and red.
right.
The one that's south of it has nothing on it. The one that's south of it is the only lot that is compliant with the zoning requirements in terms of being 50 feet wide and 100 feet long. The north lot is not compliant by its design, that it's only 47 feet, I think.
44.8. Okay.
That's a 44.
Yeah.
So that's why the 2 separate, requests. Because it's 2 different parts.
Questions? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. But you're not building on the original footprint, or you're trying to hold part of the partial footprint extending over. I mean, on the north side, is it added to, or is it?
Yeah, so it is consuming the area that is the footprint that's there now, but it extends more to the east and a little bit to the north from the original.
But as soon as you add on to it, it's not the original
It's
footprint.
not original footprint, exactly. So.
And I agree with you. I was just you were saying, is it partially on the footprint?
You said
Yes, it
something
is.
about the original footprint. Back to that.
Right, yeah, and we're requesting a variance from that ordinance that requires
Okay.
development only within the original footprint.
Is there a reason that you want to try to hold the 2 foot, 3 foot setback, 2 foot setback?
Well, the reasoning behind that is the homes are both designed kind of similar, and at the square footage or the distance that's needed to kind of have a reasonable main floor, bedroom with a hallway and all that stuff put together kind of requires that width. And if you're at that width and to not affect our neighbors or the alleyways, so as to not, put our problem onto them, we've moved the 2 homes closer together as opposed to putting them right in the middle of the lot, because then that kind of affects the neighbor.
Reason you can move it to the north? There's a reason.
We would have to modify the variance request, and because right now we're compliant on the north line. So we would have to ask for a variance if you wanted to move it, say, make it 4 feet on the south and 8 feet on the north. We could do that, take 2, add 2, but then we'd have to ask for a variance from the north line as well.
I wasn't really talking about moving the whole house. I was just talking about the reason that you have to build within 2 feet of that house. I know you're wanting as wide a house as possible on a 40 foot, say 45 feet, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean,
In terms of cutting the design down 2 feet, it's my understanding from my client to say that in order to try and get what would be required on the ground floor for, a desirable build, would make that all too tight inside the home with a garage and a master bedroom and everything on the first floor.
I just I feel like you're not building on the same foundation. You're building a new house on a vacant lot, so to speak. Because once the house is demolished, it's a vacant lot. And you've got a site plan that you're going to build a house that's going to be non-conforming. You can say, well, it's conforming on 2 sides, but not on the other. But if you buy a lot, knowing that it's 45 feet wide and you're trying to put a 44 foot house on there, I mean, from the start that you're not eligible by ordinances and you require variance. But I don't know why you would require a variance prior to the build, because you're creating your own hardship.
Well, the hardship that we've all really kind of focused in on was the ability to design a house that would be the highest and best use of the property on a high sloping angle like that. to try and build within that same footprint would be difficult. And further, the current plan, I know we're not combining the two, but the current plan of building these two houses fits in line with the needs for housing for the community, in that there's no need for another giant house on a large lot in town. Kind of fits within the need of more rooftops.
How many square feet is the house when finished, would it be planned approximately?
Remember, it is a 2-story with a basement. I'm trying to think the total development, the total square footage.
Well,
The basement's not full, but I mean, if it's 30 by 60, that's 1,800, first floor, 1,800, second floor. So it's
So it's 36.
Yeah, it's pretty big. I don't know how we can look at this. If you're going to have two separate parcels and expect to have some consideration given for this build dependent upon the other lot.
Yeah, I guess I'm not arguing that we are. This is an independent request with an impervious request on that 0.7.
Well, that and two other things, the south yard setback and to build outside the original footprint. So I don't know how I can look at that as any way, shape or form as how to approve it.
yeah, I just can't approve a 2-fence setback. And I agree. It's trying to put too much of a house, too big of a house on a small lot. And I'm like you said, Barry, you're creating your own hardship by trying to build too big a house for a lot. And that's what creating your own hardship is.
I'd respectfully, kind of identify that there was a 2-foot setback granted a couple hundred feet from this development not too long ago, correct? Off of a roadway or alleyway for a new construction. So in order to, uniformly apply the setback requirements, if there's others that are granted as close, if not closer to the setbacks, how is that any different than this request?
Because everything we look at is different.
And I don't know what you're talking
Yeah, I'm
about.
not sure either, but I know
On the-
that
on
we
the
don't compare
townhomes.
one that we do or whatever because of
Yeah.
the reasons that we looked at, other than
Yeah.
creating your own hardship.
Yeah.
I just feel like in my position, I can't even try and find any other way to even compensate for that 2-foot setback. Sorry, I know it was originally that way, but it's grandfathered in prior to ordinances. And the ordinance were created to give more of a setback for several reasons. I mean, it's for every house to be the same. Everybody else has to follow the same rules. They didn't have rules to follow by.
Apparently not, but I'm just,
No. According to the comprehensive plan, I don't think we can actually allow houses to be built bigger on lots we're not supposed to. It's a non-conforming lot. And we're actually taking a non-conforming lot and continuing to have a non-conforming structure on a non-conforming.
I mean, I understand that reasonable people can disagree. I think that it fits within the design. We worked with the surrounding community to ask if there was any concern. To the best of my knowledge, there's no, are there any letters that were sent in, Mr. Gorski?
There was no letters, so there were letters, there was one I have, it was already read in the minutes previously.
Okay,
Those people spoke in favor
okay.
with, I'm not, I have it here. I think it was just their only concern. There was a letter that said it was okay. I doubt I have it. Could be a
Yeah, I
manifest.
think it was Mr. Oostervon. Sent that it was.
So there was a couple concerns expressed, but overall it was favorable.
So we worked with the surrounding neighbors to make sure that anything we were building was, that they didn't object to or have any problems with. They were all, they voiced their concerns, so we addressed those to try and make sure that we met all those requirements. And so we're trying to be good neighbors and do everything we can to
And I
benefit the
understand
neighborhood.
and appreciate that at the same time. But I know when you were talking about even doing a restriction to be able to build anything else on that side. I mean, the ordinance is already called for nothing to be built on that to start with. I mean, whatever said before they could without there. I mean, and I appreciate that, but it just shows me that you already know that you're infringing enough to where.
Well, I guess we're just
already
trying
could
to
be a
add
problem
into,
created.
add in to provide that extra security if we've been here on other things to say,
Right.
what can we do to add in there to provide the board security that nothing would be added to it that would further an issue. Now, if the board seems that it may be beneficial to request and move that house a little bit north so that it's not so close to the other, like I said, if you give two and take two, then that, that's something that
Yeah, I
certainly we
wasn't
could.
suggesting to give two, take two. I was
Okay.
giving to take less from the south side. I know it would reduce your square footage, but
So yes, you were saying change the design and narrow the house.
Yeah, narrow the house. what I was not only suggesting, I was trying to say that would almost have to be required.
Would also add your impervious areas.
Yeah,
I
Would
guess,
reduce,
I guess
yeah.
my feeling is when you want to build a house that's going to be as big as you want it to be, but you can't put it on that lot and there's an open lot next to it, it makes sense to buy the lot, put the size of house you want and put one house on it. And that way you wouldn't have to make it one lot. That way you wouldn't have to come. Putting two houses on that lot is where the problem is. I mean, because we're having to look at variances for both lots. And I feel that's a problem. I can't vote for it. I will tell you now, I'm not gonna vote yes on it.
can't speak on the next lot because of this, we're only looking at one at a time, but when you're looking at building two houses, we have to look at what's gonna have to be done on the next lot, because what's gonna create to that house. I know same person's owning these now, but
Right.
when somebody else buys one of them, whatever, then you're gonna create the problem or gonna pass the problem.
Yeah.
on to-
And that's, and arguably it's arguing into the wind here to some degree, but that's why we have the reciprocal easement for maintenance. So in that way you don't have, even if you had two separate new owners, they'd still be able to access the side of their house to be able to maintain it. That's the purpose of that easement.
Right, and I appreciate that, but what I'm saying is our ordinance is already required. We'll always stop that because of the variance.
What, under what grounds would you say that you would grant a side yard setback request?
Sometimes it might be topographical, I mean, it could be water, could be reasons for.
Because what I'm picking up is
I
that
can't name, but
it sounds
I
as though it
can't
advised my
find
client
the
that
reasons.
any side yard setback is going to be denied because there's code and you should have known about the lot. That's what-
I'm just saying that 2 foot setback
2
is
foot.
definitely out of it.
I mean,
But I'm not saying a 4 foot would work either. I would like to see no setbacks. I mean, I'd like to see you meet the requirements, what I'd like. But when you come in with something, and I'm sorry, but I think 2 foot setback is ludicrous in this case. I think it's ridiculous. I can't even imagine approving that. Not on a tear down and building it. I just can't. I couldn't see myself doing that. What I would desire is that you not even have to come here. Especially with two lots there. I'm sorry, I just feel like
think if we were talking about a house that was 1,200 square feet in total, it'd be a different conversation, but we're talking about 3,600 plus a basement, so talking about a 4,000 plus square foot house that you're literally touching the next house. It's just difficult to imagine a house that big in a lot.
There, I mean, again, it'd be 10 feet.
I
Yeah,
understand.
so it's not
10 feet from the
two
next
on
house,
two,
but
yeah.
Yeah.
if these houses were both 4 foot narrower, you wouldn't even need that second request.
But the way it's set up, it should be 20
It
feet.
should be 20 feet.
Well, that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
10 feet on each
That's what I'm
one.
saying.
Yeah.
So is that a hardship then to have to try and build a house that
The
would be
hardship is
24
actually
feet
building
wide.
one.
24 feet wide would be,
You
would be
build one-
according to the ordinance, be 24 feet wide.
Right.
A 20-foot garage leaves you 4 feet.
Well, the southern house could be 28 feet and still be compliance of all.
Correct, yeah. That's the issue is if you have a garage on that, it leaves you at 24 feet, 20-foot wide garage is barely manageable as a full-size garage for 2 cars. Then that leaves you 4 feet of,
Yeah, but these drawings only show, it looks like a 1-car garage, correct?
in the back in the back does have a 1-car garage.
But
That's
there's no
26 foot
requirement
long.
For a garage, that's an optional.
I apologize if.
If you find the hardship that would require that you needed a garage. Then you look at it, I can't find where the garage is actually needed. It's a necessity to build on. You're wanting, I mean, it's like somebody wants a big pole barn and lot, we're gonna go buy a big lot. Sure. You know, and
Yeah, I understand. I'm here to request what my client asked for. So,
And I don't want them any animosity toward this, anything like that. I'm just trying to
well,
stick to what we have to stick to, you know?
Well, I probably shouldn't even mention this, but one of the things you mentioned last time you were here, that it was kind of the people who were wanting to build these, it's going to be kind of an overflow where the kids could go and play their games or whatever. You can't tell me that's a hardship if that's what it was going to be used for. And then I think that was mentioned.
I think
That's
that
not a hardship. Somebody was needing a residence here, but to have an overflow house and then ask for, I'm sorry,
I think that I would argue the two are completely separate. How they use it is.
well, they didn't come as separate. I mean, they came together for the first time because you wanted us to look at both of
No,
them.
no, I'm not saying the houses are separate. I'm saying the use versus the construction. The construction is being designed for the highest and best value for that parcel to try and maximize that parcel.
Okay, and I think
So, to the community and to any resale.
I think you're hitting the nail on the head right there when you said maximize the best value. And that's exactly what we're talking about.
So that was the idea behind the construction. Now, the fact that they use it as
Well, sure, because all of a sudden, 2 houses on 2 lots is worth a whole lot more money than 1 lot, 1 bigger house on a big lot.
property tax
Let's look at
price as well.
Hey, maybe it's whatever, but
Yeah.
the values are there. I'm just saying,
Yeah, I understand. I mean, if the answer is no, then I can move on to the second request in terms of how that kind of plays out. That only
well,
has,
we need to move on this one first.
that's fine. Yeah.
We're ready for finding
Or
facts.
you would want to withdraw. I mean, you have the option of doing that, or, or you can go.
Because
further, like
if we
Mr.
vote-
President.
If we disagree, I mean, if we vote against this, you cannot come for another year.
Well, then I'll just go ahead and withdraw the request then to allow my client to have flexibility on how they want to move forward. On the southern, I guess we need to make motion in order on that, to have it withdrawn. Was my request.
No, you can withdraw. We don't have to vote on that.
Yeah, okay.
Just wait a minute.
So on the southern lot, there's just one variance request, and that's from the side yard setback on the north lot. That's the 8-foot setback from the eave, 9 foot from the foundation. And that is really pretty important in terms of maintaining the alleyway and the ability to traverse that alleyway that's there, in order to continue to move all the way around there. We really moved that house to the north a little bit to provide that 10-foot setback on the side yard and the 25-foot on the rear. So the only request there, and you can see the impervious on the bottom of the design is well within limits.
Yeah, your 54% impervious.
What's the setback from the street, from Coolidge Court?
I don't know that exact measurement. We spoke with Mr. Gorski on the front yard setback was within his power to award if it meets with the rest of the building line.
It's right around 12 feet, I think.
It's 10 feet,
10 feet or
10 feet. From the property line and
and you got the steps that go all the way out on that setback. I don't know, that could be, I might even.
And that design may change if there's not a house like that that's
Right.
next to
I'm
it.
saying how could
That-
What's there, I'm not.
And this really depends on when you go back and talk to your bosses with and decide what they're gonna do as to what,
Well, I think that the,
why would
He
affect
wants the
this,
side setback, there's no actual.
but there's nothing there.
well, I mean, they may decide to build the one house and have that side yard setback and tear the house down and have a yard there. If
So you have to combine lots though.
well, no, they wouldn't if
They
they,
don't get too small.
they,
Oh,
yeah,
two, okay.
yeah.
Smaller houses. But until you know what you're gonna do, you really know that you need to do this. That's what I'm saying. I guess that's my point.
Yeah, I mean, if the board so decided, is willing to grant the variance on the 8-foot setback and they choose to take another route, I guess it wouldn't, that variance approval wouldn't keep them from doing it.
I'm confused. These are the steps here we're looking at. And is it right at the street? That's,
That's existing, and we're going back.
is this a street here?
Correct, yes, that's Coolidge.
And that's not 10
it.
feet from there to these steps.
10 feet back.
10 feet from the front of the construction, right, or front of the building.
So the steps is not, and this brick at the bottom is not.
That's
included as part
all.
of the building?
Correct, yes. That's not infringing, it would not be infringing upon the setback requirement. I don't think the bricks are. Correct, that would be a retaining wall. So it would be, as it shows on the aerial. And that's all from the existing sidewalk. So I guess that's the property line, not necessarily the sidewalk or the road. That's the property line
So we're actually.
on this design.
It's within that
So it's within the,
sidewalk, right?
no, the sidewalk is,
But this
Next to the sidewalk.
this part right here, this porch in the front,
yes,
that's all part of this construction here.
yes,
It's 10 feet from there,
but not the stairway, right? The foundation, yes, or the overhang is the,
All these stairs are coming out basically.
right. Well, I don't know that doing away with
From
I'm
where
just saying-
they're at.
when you say that, see, the sidewalk is out here.
Right.
Yeah, so
And your
this is kind of
setback is from right here.
correct.
And so you know you're not 10 feet from that,
No,
10 feet.
10 feet from the foundation, right?
Saying
Or the overhang.
these steps that's on this is just within the same place where these steps are.
Yes, yes,
So your setback is gonna be only 2 feet. Basically.
if that's as I understood, the request was from the or the overhang of the building, not necessarily the steps. Are the steps considered?
Well, they're
Part of
part of,
the-
yeah, I'd say they're. Yeah, part of the structure. Traditional houses.
Right.
Comes on, I mean, they meet a setback 10 feet, not that. But they are not.
Just north of there, there's a house that's got like a concrete or stone wall that's right up against the sidewalk. It'd be the same
Just
structure
north
as
of,
that.
Right.
just north of this lot is the lot.
Not,
you just-
not contiguously north, but a couple hundred feet north on the same road.
Couple hundred feet, that's several lots north. If the lot at 220 is only 45 feet, and you say a
I
couple of
don't
feet,
know the
that's,
exact, I can't walk it off for you, but
But
90 feet, 70 feet, 80 feet.
yeah, they're not speaking for the next lot up that's got that concrete, because if they came back and wanted to build a house back, are we gonna be looking at where they put that back? I'm not either, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, we don't want to keep creating the same problem to where it goes down the line that everybody's gonna come back and say, well, the left one over here's got it to here, so we can have it on the right, see the same thing. You know, and you're saying, well, we're keeping conformity as far down the street, but.
Well, we're not. Now we're moving it back.
Right.
Is what I'm hearing this. I'm just saying that that kind of falls in the same line as that brick stone wall that's
Right.
right there. Very within eyesight of the lot that I'm discussing. Are there any other questions on it that you can think of?
Yeah.
Go back to the 8-foot setback again, why are we having 8-foot setback?
I guess the same on the design, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the design again.
and if this design is dependent upon the other one, I don't know how we can even look at this one.
It's not
As a standalone.
you seem frustrated. How can I help?
I don't seem frustrated.
It's-
I don't seem frustrated.
Oh, I mean, maybe
I
you are
don't see how we can approve either of these.
And then again, I would say, is there any scenario under which you would grant a side yard setback variance? Because it sounds to me like.
Not on this lot.
No, okay. Then I'll withdraw this petition and take it back to my client to have them reconsider how to design and develop the lots. Under the scenario that a side yard setback is probably not possible.
I think that's very advisable, yeah.
Okay.
Good
All
idea.
right. Thank you.
Thank you, though.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, next one case, 2023 B14. 825 North Lakeshore Drive.
Guys, I'm sorry, I didn't prepare, like, I guess I should have hired somebody. All I want to do is put, a deck. I had a plate set for my daughter inside my privacy fence, and I'd given it to a friend years ago. It's not to me now. But I wanted to put a deck over where that play set was, so, I've got two lots. My garage sits on one and then my house, so but that's what I want to do. I want to put a.
How big is the deck going to be?
I'd like it to be, sorry,
What we laid out was 14.
well, I want, well,
What we laid
Oh.
out was 14, but you put 12. The one going to the east, I mean, it doesn't. Then there's no separate.
I'm sorry, can I get both of your names
oh,
to be?
Tom Ditto,
Okay.
DENH. I'm actually the homeowner.
Okay.
There's
I'm Mike Elliott. Mike Elliott.
Stranger.
How big is the play area?
It
Tom?
was about,
It's probably 18, I think we went about 2 foot. And then it kind of got a little bit of an offset, but it's every bit of 12 foot at the widest.
And you say what you're proposing is what,
We were just gonna make it. straight.
14 by 20?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're rectangle 14 by 20. The existing playground set where we had it made was right up against the privacy fence to the east and to the south. We did actually dug down and put a little foundation, but it's all pea gravel inside. So we were just covering that up. Part of the deck would actually, we'd have to dig out on the north end, and then it would be about a foot above the ground, so everything, you wouldn't even see the deck with the fence that's there now, other than through the slats that are.
This is a strange thought because that is a street behind you, correct?
Yeah, it's a Bradley Ford, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
uphill there.
And right off of the alley, there's a big set of hedges, and then he's got a fence in there.
Well, these are ed, corners lots, heavy, for Bradley Ford.
Yeah.
Back over on the south side here.
Yeah.
It's a sick.
Yeah, so this is my-
It's pretty tight through there.
So that's my garage right there, and this is where it's gonna go right here. Or this is where I'd like it to go, right here.
And your garage is
Right here. Yeah,
right
yeah, 2 lots, yeah.
now, you currently have an accessory to the house.
This is a garage.
You don't have the garage on this property. Two separate properties.
I think they're considered 2 separate.
There's two separate. There's two separate parcels.
Yeah.
House that's on one parcel, the garage that's on the other.
Okay, but it's two separate parties.
And this is where I'm.
Have they combined that into one tax
Recommend that
unit?
you combine, but not
Yeah.
pertaining to this.
I don't think so.
This is, if you want to see a picture, here's a beacon picture.
Oh, thank you.
You put that over
They want to
here
put the deck
where the
right,
garage is.
right here. There's gravel already in that area.
Yeah, that's where the place
That's
is.
where he's want the PlayStation, where he's putting the deck, right?
Yeah,
So how far is it from that to the house? The distance?
from where I want the deck to the house.
There's a sidewalk going up there. We would be about, and it kind of offsets there.
So from the furthest out here,
Yeah, that's probably about.
so where there's patio here. This patio. and
No, that right there, Steve, there's the sidewalk and then my house.
So the actual to the house is somewhere around 20 feet.
And one there, yeah.
So that would be from what you're asking for the deck, I think.
Yeah, because the deck would go right where your red starts. pretty
That's an
much.
approximate number. That's not,
Yeah.
give or take a couple feet on that.
A stupid question. Why wouldn't you want to you want to put a deck on, right?
Yeah,
Why wouldn't you put it attached to the house?
Because there's
just,
a.
yeah, I just wanted to cut that. I mean, I'm gonna have to get rid of it so much, so I thought it'd be nice to put a deck there. And also I can,
He's already got a patio by the house.
yeah. I hate to say it, but from that point right there, I can see the lake really good, so. Yeah, stupid reason, but I mean, I might as well be honest. Yeah, I might as well be honest.
And this is your garage.
Would you
Yeah,
have,
Steve, that's my garage.
would you have better options though? I mean, what's the size of the lot that you got your garage on? I mean,
Yeah, why
right
would
now
you
I'm
put it
looking
over
at
there?
The garage takes
the
up.
structure only on one lot
The
and your
garage
primary
takes up
on
the
another
whole
lot.
lot.
That's
Yeah.
driveway to the garage.
I mean,
Yeah.
right now,
That's actually the entrance from the west side into the garage.
Okay, so that,
This section here is all driveway. And then this is
okay.
this is a sidewalk between the house and the garage. Then this is a sidewalk, and this is like just a stone
Landscape.
landscaping. And then this is a patio, and then this is where we had built the playground area. For it, and so we were looking at, something maybe like right here, just a couple feet past that. Then eventually, I mean, wanting to put like a hot tub.
Yeah,
on top
that's
of
what
it.
I was hoping. That's what I'd like to do.
I got two questions. Because when I looked at this both in person and then I went online. And when I saw that there were two parcels there, it didn't identify the taxes for each of them. It showed the tax paid for one of them. Well, actually, it showed the same amount for both of them, exactly the same amount. So. And the garage is on its own. And you couldn't build anything with it, do anything with it.
The garage, there's nothing to do on.
If by chance the two parcels were combined into one, would you be here asking us for this variance?
Well, yeah, I'd have to for the back.
Oh, in the back,
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the second question is, do you need a variance if you were to put a stone patio in ground?
Well, we talked about that, so I mean, we didn't know. We have talked about it. Talked about putting it, the deck in and a step down to another deck, make it all one. Because there's a little bit of play in the ground about a foot. And we've talked about, because we've already got pea gravel in there that's fairly level. And we talked about, just putting a stone thing on there,
So patio is in a structure, deck is a structure.
It's called landscaping then. Is that what?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's already, this is just my thoughts as I look at this, where that playground was, if you were to put be it a patio or a deck there, it's not going to greatly change the impervious surface because that's already gravel where that
Right.
was, which is already considered impervious surface on the lot.
on
But
that, on that little area.
that-
I don't know what the percentage is for that, but I know it's above 50. It would be grass, well above 50. So,
What would the height of this deck be at your?
well, on this end up here, the north end, it would actually be down in the ground a little bit. Down here, I think it's about a foot out.
Yeah,
I think, 'cause we were looking at doing a 2 by 10 and stuff, and I think we would have it's probably closer to about 15, because there'd be about 3 inches sticking out where we'd have to just build it
I already-
to the bottom, I think.
I already caused my own hardship because I bought the material.
But as far as where you're putting the deck now, since you do have a property line separating your two lots, what would be the setback from that property line to the deck?
That where the blue line is?
Correct.
Yeah, it's only like 3 or 4 feet.
Is it on?
Yeah, it's
I don't know if
close.
it's
I
on
think it's
your
just
sheet of paper.
Yeah, I think it's 3 feet. And
I suggest.
The south side, yeah.
I didn't even know that was a,
Yeah.
The way that lot is designed, I would never have guessed it was 2 lots.
Yeah.
And so because it's all.
Right.
Well,
It's all just.
But I mean,
my house is
Right.
3 lots,
yeah,
well, for the,
but it's all one taxing unit.
Right.
They have
Right.
changed that.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, with the two different numbers on these two,
Absolutely.
you get taxes on,
No, they're saying,
and you get taxes.
If you look at this, you got 21 foot, you probably got about at least,
oh, it is 2, you're right.
could you move, I know you're trying to get in the
Two
footprint of the
separate
pea gravel. But could you adjust the deck to the point, you've got a lot of green grass back to the north there. And you've got some green grass back to the east
No,
there.
I have no doubt that we couldn't.
And you cover up, I guess I'm saying you cover up most of the pea gravel. And then
Right.
you're not looking for a variance at that point, and you've just got a buffer of pea gravel.
Right. Now, going this way from this lot line, how far would we have to be to not?
Well, you're asking for, from that rear yard,
3 feet.
yeah, you'd have to go back another 7 more feet that way, back to the north. And you'd have to move, looks like, not that much, I mean, you'd have to move 3 feet maybe.
It's still have 25.
Still don't know why.
Oh,
Uh, 25.
Yeah, that's true. You can't get enough, can you? It wouldn't be a big variance.
Off the house there
We're not
is,
big.
this is a patio already. So there's
Side
nowhere
yard
to
extending
put
this
it.
case.
And now you could put it back here, but reason to look out here is we had that.
That's-
Yeah.
Plus from
That's
right there.
And I know you're wanting to go over. on
I guess the biggest thing is,
So you're not wanting the front.
what's the hardship here? That's what I'm not getting a hardship.
I bought the material.
That's for you, not. Yeah, I need to know the hardship.
I mean, is stone an option for you?
I mean, I'll do whatever you guys want. I just.
We can't
I'm
recommend.
not giving you any recommendation, I'm just saying, you know, if you're putting a stone patio in, you don't.
Material, but I'll.
You can come back and see if they'll give you your money back and exchange it for brick.
Papers, yeah.
Or paper.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much stuck with the material. It's been-
I would like
Because-
to,
Well, I
first,
just don't
our
feel
building
it.
commissioner, as far as, you know, we've always approached these processes when you're doing anything on a lot and you've got a non-conforming lot that's with it, you know, which is creating the line is like.
Right.
Your problem.
Right.
Yeah, if this line wasn't here.
That
this
line
would
wasn't
be
there,
one, and it would
And
be-
combining the lot, I mean, you have to go through the process, which is not, it's a pretty simple process. But I would suggest if you did that first, you may not even have to come back, but then if you would actually open up more options for you.
You still have the backyard setback.
You still have a backyard setback.
That would eliminate a side yard setback, but you still. have
But you wouldn't create
Yeah, that's what-
another side yard.
How do I go? I mean, maybe this is not a good time to ask, but how do I go about that?
You just, go to people.
Well, I know the guy. All right, good. Easy
Yeah.
enough.
It's through the planning commission.
Yeah,
Okay.
Through the planning commission, but I mean, give it him.
Okay.
Application.
Okay.
and we'll bring.
Yeah, fair enough.
And what is the offset from the alley this way? And I mean, what's it have to be? Is it? Wouldn't even be able to,
And that lot, that's a conformity.
because this is less than 25 foot, just even to the sidewalk.
Right.
Trying to use your papers.
But I mean, you probably requiring the same setback now, but right now you'd be looking for the 3 foot that
Right.
you would need, and you see how the 3 foot goes.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
right.
I'm not saying you wouldn't get it,
Sure.
but I mean.
But if it was
the likelihood-
pavers or, you know, some kind of
Right.
patio,
That doesn't-
you know, of some sort, then there's no.
Right, but I mean, I'm just
setbacks or-
saying, if he, and I hate to look at ifs, but if he sold the garage in that lot, then what are we looking
That
at?
garage is my house. As Kevin knows, I live in that garage.
Future, we have to look at
Future.
Kind of.
When you got variance, the variance is permanent, right? And it goes, when you sell that lot, that variance is still there. And next person, you got that variance.
Yeah,
And you
I
gotta
mean,
go
like I
back
say,
by that
just the main reason
line,
for it
you know,
was that was
Yeah.
an existing already
Right.
there. Had a great view from the lake when we set the hot
Yeah.
tubs.
I just wanted a deck. I'm good with whatever you guys decided. It doesn't affect or, I mean, I just wanted a deck. That's the whole reason this
Right,
process
right.
started. I didn't realize I was getting into a whole mountain of issues.
You don't realize you need a variance.
Exactly, thank you.
I mean, you got the material, Tom, but maybe want to think about that cement slab too. Maybe putting a terraced up on that, because then you're probably set back as good. Maybe.
Now, you mentioned cement slab, we could pour a concrete slab.
Into the ground?
Or without variances or.
That could-
or to be like a patio,
If you put it,
could be removable.
yeah, you can go into the removal on that stuff too, but
Concrete slab is a little bit different than pavers.
well, concrete slab is definitely different papers.
It is.
It's completely.
Pavers are more of the landscaping. If you pour a pad, then you have something else.
Yeah, I was talking about the existing one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A structure is common building materials.
Yeah.
So you're not building a house out of pavers, but you build a house out of concrete.
yeah, like I said, if combining the lots would help and I can reapply, I mean, I've got $3,000 in the material, so if I can, because there's no way they'll take it back at this point. I mean, it's been sitting there for a month and a half.
Yeah.
So.
But you might find some contractor that might.
No, absolutely. I
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
completely. I do.
And if I may, but if you even combine the lots, it would eliminate side yard setback, and you still have the rear yard setback.
You still had a rear yard. It wouldn't change anything on it. You would include one,
Right, okay. All right, well,
but you would be.
does anybody need any material?
They might need some.
Actually, you'll be able to. I gotta have
He- he made it.
No,
Oh, that's right, bro. You mentioned.
no. The gentleman over there. Build deck.
All right, well,
2 years, 3 years.
probably at least still combine that.
No, you're withdrawing. In other words, you're withdrawing.
You're withdrawing.
Yeah, you're withdrawing. You're withdrawing.
I mean, I'm getting, you guys are gonna decline it, so yeah, I'm gonna withdraw.
Yeah, we won't say we are.
We haven't done anything yet.
Yeah, well, I could tell, I mean, I'm not, you guys don't have to play that, I could tell, so.
Kind of a rough, we're kind of a rough group tonight.
No kidding, it's frustrating, I mean,
No
you have my own
guarantees.
privacy fence, and you can't even, but yeah, I get it, rules and rules, so. Thanks, guys.
See you, Tom. Thank you.
Actually, Dan, we've been waiting for the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Like I say, we can rush it.
No, but, so Christine, she's actually on the screen, if you'd like to.
Yes.
Yeah, we have.
Not being rough. I think we're.
No, we're just,
the action.
yeah, we're just kind of putting our foot down.
Unless you want to be on, Christine, I'm gonna take you off of it.
Well, I kind of like to be able to see her.
Okay.
If that's okay with her, yeah.
Oh, it's fine with me. I turned my camera on just so I could say hello and to say that I came today to request a variance setback to build in a 1,144 square foot single family home with an attached garage on the corner lot of Obispo and Bada Banyo. The current setbacks are on the south are 25, and I'm asking it to be reduced to 7, accounting for a 1-foot overhang. And then on the west side from 10 feet to 8 feet. And then on the east side from 25 feet to 10 feet, which would be the Obispo side. And then on the north side from 10 feet to 7 feet, accounting for the 1-foot overhang from the building.
This has one.
The last time you said something about the garage, about taking it from possibly 24 to 20 feet.
Correct.
Was it 24 by 24? Or in the
Yes,
drawing
it
we,
was on the prior drawing, it was, and I reduced it to 20 by 24.
it was 24 by 24, okay.
Correct.
So the original was 4 foot on the west side. The original request was 4 foot and it's been changed to 8.
Yes, the original request was 5 foot, taken from 10 to 5 foot, and I adjusted it to 8 feet.
Because that's where we got into the eaves. Also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
The 2 front lots, do they align with other houses in the area? Like, that's something that you have the ability to look at.
Yes. So the front yard on this would be the 10-foot setback.
Correct.
The Obispo.
Correct.
The Obispo side would be 10 feet to the steps. Which that would be roughly 13 feet, I guess, to the.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at with him. If it. They're on Coolidge.
Okay, and the 7 foot on Batabano, that would be consistent with the other houses that are in Batabano?
Not any addition.
There's only one.
There's only one other house there,
on
and
the lot.
it's without, it appears to be close.
Yeah. But that,
And that would be the house 2 lots to the west?
Yes,
Yeah, all
Okay.
over on
Yeah, there's
Main
nothing,
Street.
that other one now, they're so narrow there.
That's on corner of Main Street, about on.
Am I correct that, and maybe you know, that have they gotten it torn down yet?
they're in process now. I didn't
Is
go
that
by
owned by the
today.
people that are to the north of this house? Do they own both of those, or is that?
Yes, the same person owns
Yeah.
both of those.
Okay.
Sean,
That block was you go from the alley and then just the block was Akron to Bispo, Bada. There's 3 lots on that. There's her lot. And then there's the lot to the west, which were those 2 lots were combined.
Okay.
It's a long skinny lot where they're tearing the house down. And then there's a lot with the house directly to the north of this. In fact,
So why do they need a?
So it's 76, but I think.
This is a bank. Okay, I know where this, yeah,
I can put it up here.
I know where this is now.
John, you've got that hands up. Take walking.
All right. Fire pit out here or something. This house has been a rental.
Yeah. I think it's for sale now too.
So I got it up on the screen too.
Back to the north, there's a rental.
The house to the north is the rental, which is for sale, and on the opposite corner, that's being torn down. It's probably at least half. As of yesterday, it was half gone.
Yeah, it's been about a week and a half with that gone.
And this is an alley going right.
Alley goes up through the middle, yeah.
Yeah, so the 8 or the 7 feet south set is from the property line, not from the street. It's probably about 12 feet or so from the street.
Oh, yeah.
At least.
Yeah, at least.
So why doesn't that go to the street, property line?
That's more, it's gonna be more than a couple feet. It's probably more than a few feet.
It's probably at 4 feet there.
There's enough room to put a sidewalk in there.
Yeah.
That might have been why it didn't.
So is that
Sidewalk be
considered like an-
required?
is
The
that-
sidewalk is required.
It's
On both,
part of the street.
on
easement.
both.
Normally, they don't show that.
These houses-
Normally it would go to the street.
It's a good question. Typically, we've only have been put them up in front and through the front of the house, even
Yeah.
on the corner lots.
Just so you know, these houses didn't used to be part of town. These were put in. So
What was that, Barry? I'm sorry.
these houses and everything, it was put in here at the time, those houses, it wasn't even part of the town at the time they were built.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, my house wasn't even part of town.
If they were required to put a sidewalk on Botabano's side, could they build it in that 4-foot section that's not on their property line?
I believe yes, I believe there's room.
Yeah, but you're saying you're
I'm saying, would they be legally able to?
If they had to put one on bottom, would they legally? Yeah.
So
My understanding would be the sidewalk would need to go down on the Obispo side where the front door is.
There is sidewalk on the Obispo side where the front door is. There's not a sidewalk on the Badabanio side.
And the sidewalks that's there would have to be refurbished, if you will. It has to be replaced. And that's in our, also. If it's in poor condition on new construction, it has to be
Has
replaced.
to be replaced.
Okay, when I looked at it, the sidewalk didn't look to be in poor condition, but did you find it to be in poor condition when you went out there?
I would
Because
have,
was just by the site last week.
I would have to go look.
Okay,
I don't recall the sidewalk even being there, so.
No,
I
see,
would-
on this picture that we have from, and I think that's from,
Property, not necessarily the road, yeah, right?
it looks like it's just a curb there and not a sidewalk.
You see that dark line right
Oh,
there?
It's right behind it. There's actually about a 2 foot grass.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's.
Our ordinance says sidewalk and curb, but curbs depend on, I have to work with Bob Porter on that, because in some places we do not want curbs.
Well, I think there's a curve there already.
A lot of them we don't have.
This picture, it looks like it.
Okay, so
Yeah, I mean, the
There's-
side that's can't see them.
Yeah, I do see the side.
Line there.
Oh,
If it's a
sorry.
property lines.
I have to go back and look for pictures. I think. So yeah, there's a curb there.
Looks like it would be. on
Yeah,
that.
so there's a sidewalk there.
Does she
Already
look at the
also-
alley then? Because it doesn't have that.
So there's a nice easement between the
Right.
sidewalk.
What's that?
Radio.
Yeah, who owns, what's this?
It's an empty lot
That's empty lot.
to the west.
Going to the west.
This is actually all combined now. Although it hasn't been updated on Beacon, this is one lot with this house. This is one long skinny lot right here.
Oh,
But Sean, Sean Young owns both of those. right?
Yes, this is one lot here. This is a lot, and this is the third lot.
Oh, that's all one lot then.
Yeah,
This is one lot here.
back
Yeah,
to the
right
west.
there and there to that, down going to the.
Earlier this year, that was replanted.
So there's no
Okay,
line.
all right, so,
No.
so,
They used to have a big wooden fence down there.
I know they did, back when
help me a little bit
Larry
here,
Riff lived there.
as I'm looking to the house to the west, past, west of the vacant lot there.
Yeah.
We did ask if this, if Mrs. Morrison's would be on the Batabano side, her 7 foot would be consistent with that house. Looking at the picture there,
But they're closer to 7.
that looks like it's closer than 7.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so the concern I had last time we heard was the north side yard setback of 7 foot. So
It wasn't 7 before.
It was-
No, it's 5.
Five.
it was 5, okay. All right, here now it says 7.
Yeah, so.
All right, so I still have the concern about 10-foot north side yard setback. But if the house as it's presented here has a 7-foot south yard side setback, and that would be maybe because of the easement property. If the house could be moved a couple feet, 3 foot south, would it still be even with the side of that western house there? And that, I think that would address the concern I have about the north side yard setback.
Sitting at 4 foot on that south side, right? Is what you're suggesting.
Yes, because we
Deal.
weren't aware of this buffer, so to speak, or easement. And if that's 4 or 5 feet. In fact, let me just, so we.
I know what
so-
you're saying.
Are
I
you
know
talking about
exactly what
dropping
you're
it
saying.
down and increasing
If it was,
the?
yeah, if it was the same as that,
So
how
if we-
much
if
would
we
that free
talk
up the
7
north
foot-
side of it?
if we're talking 7 foot from here, so let's just say that. And the question was, is that even with this house? Here, well, it looks like this house here.
Farther down.
It's farther down, and so if we move this, if her house were moved down a few feet,
You're trying
to
to
be even
increase
with
it.
that,
You're trying to increase.
that
the
would,
north
that
side
would address the 10-foot
Setback on the.
setback on the north side.
Well, to the property, those like somewhere around
She's, yeah,
60 feet, 60
3
feet,
or 4 feet.
60 feet, but you're gonna gain 2 feet, make it 9
It's
feet.
not gonna change the size of the house though.
And it will, yeah, it won't change the side of the house.
this foot where they put the footprint at.
So
Put it all in, right?
Why couldn't you make it 2 foot shorter?
Well, and
Christine, I have a question for you. Is
Creating our own
this-
hardship.
is this a stick-built
Yeah, but
house
the hardship-
or is this a modular home?
No, it is a modular home that it's set, so you can't decrease. I asked about decreasing like the width, you know what I mean? So yes, it is a modular home. It could be, if I could move it over, like you said, to the Banabanio side for the 3 feet, that would be fine. We might need would have to be 4 feet to take in the 1 foot eaves. That would be fine. but it is a modular kind of prefabbed home that we were intending to put there.
I guess the only hardship is that it has two front lots, so this has to get 25. Right, couldn't build a house on there.
Right, it's non-conform, I mean, it really is non-conforming. You can't build on it basically. Or build what she wants to do.
Looks again, 25.
25, I put you, yeah, you could be.
I'm sorry, this was a 1,140 square foot. Something like-
1,144 square feet house with a 20 by 24 attached garage.
So it's not a big house.
No, with no basement.
And I'm gonna go back to you one more time, Steve. You said those other 3 lots on that block right there are owned by the same person.
Yes.
And are they all 3 for sale with that for sale sign?
No,
Okay, just that corner one.
Just that
Okay.
one.
just the corner one that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, this is the one that's coming down. This is the one that's got a for sale sign.
Oh,
But this person owns all 3 of these.
Oh, Sean owns one on the corner too? Oh, I didn't know that.
It's actually only 2 other lots on that block, so.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a combined, these actually one lot.
Mhm.
But
But it's,
so there's 2 lots there.
Right.
Not to interrupt anything, but right now, I mean, under manufactured housing, which is a modular, we're looking at 15 feet rear on rear yard, 10 feet sides. Front yard 25. So we're looking at variance 15 feet on rear yard from the 15, which right now she's at 7.
For what?
He's at age 40.
Page 40 under,
So you're looking under R1, right?
no, I'm looking under manufactured housing.
What's this saying?
Has to be a 15
15
foot
foot setback,
rear yard as opposed
rear
to.
yard
rather than 25.
rather than 25.
That's over
15.
R1.
15 instead of 25.
Just so the request is gonna be right on the variance request.
So it's not right off the variance
It's
request.
asking for from a 25.
Right.
And asking from 15 for it to. Not correct?
Which side of the lot are we talking about?
Talking about the north side,
The north, so side yard setback?
yeah. That'd be 10 feet. And the rear yard,
Rear yard is what he's talking about.
rear yard is 8 feet now. I was thinking 7, but yeah, it's 8 feet.
But it's from 10, right?
Huh?
It should be 15.
It's just,
From modular.
Setback.
Okay,
He's reading the module.
okay. I'm just reading the variance, sorry. My bad.
it'll be 8 feet from 15 foot or clarifier. Variance request.
So what you're saying is it's actually less than.
It's less than
Yeah.
required, but it's not stated that on
It's
the
not
variance.
stated on the variance. Head on.
Yeah, but we did,
So this board can make recommendations or can make an approval with conditions,
Right,
meaning you can
Right.
change it. But
right.
you want those
I
to
just
be,
want the minute
to allow the house
reflect
to be
with the-
moved.
We didn't know that this was a module.
So it makes difference.
No, it's not L1. Like,
No, so what is R?
but it's
It is.
R1.
So which one would be the superseding? There,
That's a very good question right there. 'Cause I don't-
What are you looking at on modular? What page? are you on?
Manufactured housing, page 40.
So manufactured housing is referring to mobile homes. That manufactured home is the term for mobile
something
home that's
without,
used.
something without a
The
foundation.
actual term mobile home went out in like the late 70s. And then.
This isn't a mobile home. This is, it's a home built by Rochester Homes in Plymouth, and it's not a mobile home. It can't be lifted and moved. Once it's set in place, it's a permanent
That's what-
structure that's on a concrete foundation slab.
And that's what I'm explaining right now. The house is gonna be set. It's a manufactured home, is a mobile home. This is not a manufactured housing, and this refers to mobile homes.
Okay, so what you got?
This is a modular home, not a manufactured.
Okay,
home.
so
Two
the
different
modular
things.
is manufactured.
No,
but it may
Not-
be
It's
classified as
manufactured by,
a-
it is, yeah,
It's
you're
a
right, but it's
right.
not called that.
It's not
You
called.
can't, it's the same thing, but it's not
for
called
this
that.
ordinance, this is
Sitting on a
this is a
foundation.
this is just a
Maybe,
regular
you're still
house on
making them over
foundation.
nappy and.
It is, but I know.
Yes, they
They
are.
sell and buy and.
So what would?
By definition, a manufactured home in this book is the same as a mobile home. We're still looking at R1 requirements.
Would
Be how far in the back?
Okay.
We're good.
Setback.
I just want to make sure.
Be clear.
For non-conforming lots, 10 feet.
So we're not conforming, so it should be 10, so we're actually correct in the wording of the variance, right?
Yes.
That's all, thank you.
That's all I was after anyway.
Good job.
Okay, thanks, Harry.
Thank you.
Thanks for costing me 20 minutes.
Taking us down rabbit hole.
Okay,
We could agree with me.
okay, let's get back here
Is
to,
it manufactured or is it?
So
mobile,
if
or is
we,
it- or is it-
are we able to make recommendations to the variance request as far as moving it south by X number of feet to negate the need for a northern variance?
Yes.
And she's in
Yes,
first.
that is within the power of this board, is to grant a variance with those requests. Or with those,
But do we know that that's gonna line up with that other house? Like John said, do we know that?
Well, I mean, he used his little tool. Obviously, it's not scientifically perfect, but it's somewhere between 3 and 4 feet from that property line as Beacon shows it to the house.
Let's assume that if we do move that, can you show the north side of the other home just to the west? How far is it from the property line to the edge of that will help us understand where that's at. Thank you.
get approximate numbers, hard to tell where
It
that
is.
actually ends, so I'll go to like the roof line on this
He
one.
hasn't what that is.
What's it say?
Where you gotta go.
Almost 16 feet,
Yeah.
and this is an approximate, and I would honestly guys say give or take a couple feet.
Okay, so we're gonna be closer. So let's use the north property line for a setback. If we move that 10, we're gonna be more in line, wouldn't we, gentlemen? With that south
Oh, you're talking
side.
about- Yeah, if we went.
If you use that line as a comparative,
You're gonna
right?
be, yeah, you're just moving, you're gonna satisfy both of them.
Sure,
Yeah.
we'll be more, if we only go, that's exactly right. If we only go 7 up there on that north, we'll be more out of line than if we move it down the south. If that one's sitting at 15.89.
Don't move it that way.
Yeah, I'm gonna clear the lines.
Is that making sense?
It makes
Yeah,
very good sense.
Yeah.
Honestly,
yep. So we're gonna be more in line if we take that 10 from the north.
the only other problem I've got for doing the same thing, even on the put a line here. That's
Okay, so the house is 44.
What's the problem?
nothing.
Okay.
Stay out of the rabbit hole.
Let's start with them.
All right,
No, lots of manufactured mobile. Three of
Okay,
us.
now,
Yeah.
now the eaves on the north and the south side of the house extend how much
1 foot.
past the foundation?
A foot.
Okay, and the 7 foot that you have on the drawing on both ends is measured from the property line to the eaves or to the foundation?
No, to the eaves,
To the eaves,
correct.
okay. And that's what we have to measure is from, okay.
Correct.
So moving it 3 foot,
You need a 4 foot on the south side.
which then considering we have that buffer of 4 feet. Okay,
it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
And it lines up nicely with the existing. property.
yes.
did you understand exactly what they were talking about there, Mrs. Morrison?
Yes, I do. So we're
Okay.
just gonna move it closer to the Bada Baño side to maintain the 10-foot north side yard.
Yes, you're just moving it, you're moving everything 3 feet south.
Perfect.
So it will,
Are we gonna call it 3 feet? Go with that?
So you can The motion would be to approve with the condition that the house be moved 3 feet to the south.
So we're taking off the north side yard setback from 10 feet to 7 feet. Taking that off completely.
On the north side setback, you're taking off completely because it's gonna be turned to 10
Because
foot.
it's already
So
10
the
feet.
only two issues he's asking for is now
If we're-
a 4 foot setback on the south side and an 8 foot setback. on the
That's
north side.
correct, and you'll have to phrase it with the condition that the existing moves 3 foot, right? Or if we take it off, we wouldn't even have to do a conditional. Would that be correct, Steve?
We just change it to where.
We can just make a
4
motion
feet.
that with the 10-foot north side
That's
yard
exactly what I'm
setback
saying.
and 8-foot rear yard
And there doesn't need
setback.
to be a conditional that
And
way.
then
North side
just make,
back to
you can
10.
do that too, because not really a special condition.
No, it's not.
If you
Okay.
park a car here, there
No.
would be a condition.
Okay.
The other
We put on a minute,
All right,
For the
so
variance for
then let's see how I
east and west.
get this written. Okay, what I have so far is after much discussion, it was determined that the house will be moved 3 foot south. Okay, so now tell me what I should say from that.
It would be.
With a,
4 feet,
with a 8-foot rear yard setback.
Okay.
Right?
right?
Wait a minute.
No.
3 foot south,
And a 4
thus
foot,
creating
and a 4 foot south.
an 8-foot rear yard setback. I'm gonna put 8 foot because it's a corner lot. I'm gonna write 8-foot western side rear yard, sorry. Rear yard setback,
That'd be from the-
okay,
And there is a 4 foot side yard west, north southern.
a
setback.
4-foot southern, is that side or front?
That's a side yard.
Okay, southern side
That's,
yard,
well, yeah, just call it southern side yard.
okay, southern side yard setback,
25 foot.
and a 10-foot front
East.
And the 10 foot's already granted in, so that's not even
That's a
variant.
back. Yeah,
So it'd
because-
just be the 2 variances to the south and to the west.
Well, I think all we have to do is just cross out the, on the, well, and I like how it's stated here, call the south side frontage, rather than a setback, because it is a frontage on,
It is.
on
okay,
that.
10-yard front yard. Okay, what do you, okay, and the 10-foot what? Front,
Well, it's actually, if we go to here to this, what's in the paper, we just change this to 4 feet.
It is. It is fine.
It is frontage. But, okay.
here, I'll put 10-foot
I
east,
already wrote it all down. Now I can just punch in a little number.
east
And then cross out the north side from,
frontage.
because we won't have to have it on the north side.
Yeah, I already wrote it out. I'm not changing it.
I got some white out in
South side yard.
But this is for the minutes.
Yeah, this is,
Okay. Okay, now what are you doing on that, on the finding of facts?
just change this to 4. And then where it says north side yard, and cut all that out because I'm not asking for a setback there. So going for variance, I mean. I think that takes care of it.
Everyone says the same thing. Okay.
Okay,
So the 4, what else we put in there?
and then just,
Not
just
the
change it
north side.
and north, from north side yard, just cut all that out. I'm not asking for a variance for that.
I will not get these minutes done any earlier. Because they won't get posted on till Monday.
for a while.
That's fine.
And I have to,
All right.
okay, I have to leave town.
Everybody understand?
Good night.
Thanks, Kevin.
Hey, have a good one.
Thanks, Kevin.
Anybody in the audience have any questions?
Speak up or we're over.
Anybody else online beside Mrs. Morrison have any questions? Nobody
There
else?
is nobody else online and there is nobody in the audience.
I guess I don't have to ask that then. I think we're ready to move to finding of facts. Remember, if you disagree with any, you have to vote. You have to disagree or vote no on the variant. Everybody ready? Number one, general welfare. The approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. Mr. Reed, Commissioner? Mr. Osford?
Very.
Mr. McManaway?
Agree.
Mr. Chris?
Agree.
And the chair agrees. Adjacent property, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. Mr. Michelin,
Agree.
Mr. Osborne,
Agree.
Mr. McManaway,
Agree.
and Mr. Christ,
Agree.
and the chair agrees. Number three, the practical difficulty. The strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. The situation shall not be self-imposed or be based on the perceived reduction of or restriction on economic gain. Mr. Michelin,
Agree.
Mr. Osborne,
Agree.
Mr. McManaway,
I agree.
Mr. Christ,
Agree.
and the chair agrees. Would entertain a motion that we approve this. Okay,
Make a motion that we approve south side frontage from 25 feet on Botavano to 4 feet. A west side rear yard setback from 10 feet to 8.
and,
Second.
but we have to have the east side frontage from 25 to,
We don't need
10 on
that,
the-
right?
well,
Well done.
because that lines up with the other houses.
Yeah,
you say.
So
Okay,
yeah, we don't have to do
Okay.
the east.
We don't have to do the east.
We do not. I can grant east on my own. Our ordinance.
if it lines up.
We've got east on what we just approved.
And I motion that we approve side frontage 25 feet to 10.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second that we approve this variance as read. Any further discussion? Not? How do you vote on the variance? Mr. Mason, Mr. Osborne,
Yes.
Mr. McManaway,
Yes.
Mr. Chris,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. Approved 5-0.
See, these.
Do you have any questions for us?
Pardon?
Do you have any questions for us?
I just have one question about when will I know if I need to upgrade the sidewalk on Obispo? I mean, I thought it was fine. I didn't see it was cracking or raised. But I would like to figure that in the budget.
I'll
That's
contact,
something that needs to be done.
contact you next week,
I think it requires.
Okay.
Good doc.
beginning of the week. If you haven't heard from me by Tuesday, feel free to send me a note or call me.
Just gonna give those to
Okay.
Al. I'm just
Will
gonna stick them. in.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate your help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
New business.
See you, Bo.
You want these folders back?
Yeah, I'll repurpose them if I get them back. If you want to
Okay.
take them home, that's fine, but if I get them back, I repurpose them. I'll just keep
I'm
them
gonna
labeled
keep-
on until they're that thick.
You can get him
Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of them.
folder.
Are they, ever gonna start on the storage things down there? They're running out of time again,
I
aren't they?
told, you know, I don't know if you remember last meeting, I told him, I said, don't come in front of me again on that, because
Which storage thing?
The executive,
storage.
RV mini warehouse.
He alluded,
We're still
One of the
being
last
recorded.
Still being recorded, so.
Well, I'm just saying.
no, that's just a question. And it's fine if we're being
So
recorded. I just,
that project, as far as I know, is moving forward.
is what? Is
Moving
moving
forward, they applied for the first building permit.
Okay.
I was letting Dan know too. I mean, he had a question tonight. It was referring to some of the water issues that were holding him up.
Hmm.
There's still some conditions.
Yeah, that was-
There's still some conditions on that having to do with stormwater.
And the TRC has been dealing with it.
It has.
Anything coming up next month? That you know of?
Yes. In short, yeah, there is. Everything's in process right now. For the BZA agenda coming up next month is. These are just a snapshot as I'm working on the agenda as these things progress, but 222 Marmont's going to request a variance to keep a fence covering on their fence.
Mhm.
910 West Shore Drive, that application's pending, so.
it's my next door neighbor,
What is
Which
that?
way?
What is that?
south.
And then a
That
variance,
small house there.
Mhm.
What's he want to do now?
Well, I've heard rumors.
Let's go ahead with that.
I probably should. I'm trying to say.
so there,
I
yeah,
should watch what I say. being
there's a
recorded.
variance for, coming up, there'll be a variance, and they want to add on to their house at 303 North Shore Drive. And then at 19350 17th Road, they're gonna request a special use variance in a S1 subdivision for a lawnmower sales and service business, which is a listed special use.
Where's that? Is that the,
That's Elliot's property.
Okay, so you said 520 Marmont, 19 West Shore.
Yeah, 222 Marmont, 910 West Shore, 303 North Shore.
where's North Shore?
I don't know. I was gonna ask the same question.
And 19350 17th Road. So,
17.
yes, only one of these is complete right now.
Where's North Shore?
Yeah, where's North Shore Drive?
303 North Shore.
I think it's when you're driving on Academy East and it's right across from
There you go.
from Epley. I
You
think
got a
down where Eller's
North
live in
Shore
there. I
Lane.
think
That's
that's
North Shore Lane.
North Shore Lane.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, I didn't write the whole thing out.
Which one is it that? Ranches Elder?
He's right at the end.
yeah, Eller's at
That's North Shore Lane.
That's North Shore
left
Lane.
left side,
Yeah,
Left
that's at the
side.
end.
west side at
North Shore
the
Lane
end.
is all the way to Francis Elder.
It's all-
Yeah, it is North Shore Lane. I didn't put the
Okay.
lane.
Because there's actually another sound or something.
And that was an addition on, one put an addition on.
Okay, our next meeting is the 16th of November. Anything else? If not, we're adjourned.
We gotta have a
Thank
motion
you.
on it.
No, we have to have a motion.
Well, make a motion.
Second.
Get the.
All in favor?
Get the wood.
There you go. So moved.
Now, John,
Now.
are we not being recorded?
Thanks, in a second.
I got a little
Gotta get back to it.
straight.
What? Before we leave?